when it
You
comes
are.
to,
You definitely are, and that's some
taking
good
advice.
advice. Now, let me ask you. In the school system now,
Mhm.
you've been at it for a while, right? Because 1987 was a bit ago. Are you the seasoned teacher now that
Yes.
tries to influence new,
Mhm.
younger teachers that are entering into the school system?
Oh yes, that's mine. Yes, it is. It is definitely my goal. If somebody comes in, I definitely recommend
Are
that.
are they are they as good of a listener as you were? Sometimes you hear, um, and I think it's American tradition where you think little of the younger generations. But do do you think that they're receptive to the message, and do you believe that younger individuals are as good with money as you and your generation were entering the workforce in the mid to late 80s?
Some are, but I find that it's kind of hard. It's a little harder to convince them. It seems like this group has a little harder time saving for some reason. I don't know what it is, but now I'll tell you who is good is my godson. Now he's good, and I'll tell you he will tell anybody. I watched my Aunt Hat. That's what he calls me.
Yeah.
And I saw how she, was able to take care of herself and at the same time was able to help me in school and she was able to succeed and stay in her career and blah, 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 blah. So,
So you've
yeah,
had a big
yeah,
influence on him.
oh, yes. Oh, yes. He's actually my beneficiary, too. And I trust him wholeheartedly.
Yes.
So, definitely. Oh, yeah.
And he became a
I
father not
trust
too
him,
long
yes.
ago, right?
Oh, yes, he's a daddy. I'm so proud of him. Yes,
Very.
and the baby is gorgeous. But anyway, he's good. They're trying to. Matter of fact, I went to visit him Christmas, and his wife wanted to buy something, not overly extravagant, but let's get this a sale, for the baby. It was really for the
Right.
baby. Nope, Leslie, nope, we don't need that right now. I was like, oh, boy, I hope I didn't make him a miser.
Well, yeah, it's funny you
boy.
said, because you do have to strike the balance, because you do want to live
know.
and enjoy your life, and,
Exactly.
carpe diem, seize the day.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to balance that with, building a future, because you also don't want to get to retirement age and not be able to retire, or to retire and not be able to live the life you want to live, or not be better off down the line than you are today. But you can take it to the extreme,
Right.
where you don't get to enjoy your money, but you can strike a balance. Most people, most of the time, seems to me, based on my 27 years as a financial planner, can strike a balance between building wealth, achieving financial goals, preparing for the future, protecting yourself from a rainy day, while still finding ample opportunities to enjoy money, travel, have a nice car, give to charity, all of those things.
I've been able to do all of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think?
I've been on my little cruises. I've been on my little trips, here and there. But I haven't gone. Some I had to say no to, and some I said yes to. So.
Now, do you find, now that you're in your mid-50s, moving towards retirement, do you find that your views on money are different than maybe they were a little bit ago, now that you're closing in on full pension age and that kind of thing? Do you sense any changes in your views on money?
Well, really, I don't think so, because I've been pretty consistent most of my working years. I'm a very disciplined person.
You are.
So, yeah, I am, and so I don't think I have really turned a sharp corner anywhere. I'm thinking maybe now more. I do this. I do check a little bit more, see how things are doing, more than I probably did back in the day.
Okay.
You start your 403, you just let it sit there. Okay, it's growing. Now I might have a tendency. Let me check that balance. Let me see where I am. Like for case in point, when I was going to buy the house, and the market was doing some crazy things, and I was like, oh boy, I need that money that's in that little account. Oh God, take it out. Where before I was just letting it sit there. Okay, I lost some. I'll get it back. Now I'm like, wait a minute. So in that way, I guess it's a little different.
And Harriet, in thinking about retirement, and I know it's not imminent, but how will you decide when it's time to retire? Because you're young, you're healthy, you're in a career where you can have longevity. It's not as if it's a physically demanding job like working, in the mines or something like that. So how do you think you'll approach determining when the time is right for you to retire from the public school system?
Every time I talk to somebody about that, I remember talking to my mom. I used to ask her, Mom, when are you going to retire? I don't know. The year 2000, she said, this is it. I said, how do you know? She said, I just know. And most of the people that I talk to that are retired said, you will know. You will know. It's not just like, okay, when I'm 37, it's done. No, I might get there and say, I can do another year. But if I feel it, so I plan to just do it as long as I can, as long as I still have the desire and the passion for it. When I lose that, then it's time to go. When I see myself not wanting to come in, dreading coming in or dreading certain things, then it's time to stop, if I'm not willing to do the best I can for the kids, of course,
Sure.
But now, I think I got a couple of more years to go.
well, I think that's a great answer. But, in my profession, I feel like we do noble work. And how this ties into your answer is that if somebody gets to the point, and let's use a teacher as an example, but I think it works very well for other careers and professions as well, is if you get to the point where you say, all right, my calling has changed. I don't have the passion. Could be physical, could be emotional, could be just changes in curriculum in school, whatever. You decide, all right, I think it's time. If you don't have financially the resources to retire, then you're going to make a decision that's more based on money than really what you want to do. And that would be an unfortunate outcome for someone that spent a whole career and might not be able to walk away because of financial pressures. You could see how that works, right?
Yeah, because I know some people that continue to work because they can't afford health care, or they can't afford,
Yes.
They get things on their job, they can't afford not to work, and that's when it becomes a sad situation.
Yeah, and you led me right to what I was going to say. In the case of teachers, as a citizen with children that are, one my daughter's in college now, but my son's a public school student, and it would be a shame if a child was in a classroom with someone that did lose their passion and was not really interested in the career, but was there simply because they couldn't afford to leave, because that doesn't seem like that's good for not just the teacher, but the school system, and most importantly, the children. And the way to overcome that is to have individuals that are good with money, they win with money, they increase wealth over time, so they have options when the time comes that aren't driven solely by, boy, I need the paycheck, even though I hate this, I can't do anything else, because that's not a good outcome for anybody.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's challenging, and I'm not going to sit here and say there aren't some days when let's case in point, tomorrow is supposed to be bad weather. Now, if it was a snow day, I'd be the first one to yell and scream and shout, thank you, God. I can stay home.
So it's not just kids that do that, it's teachers too?
Are you kidding? Yes, are you kidding? But at the same time, I would hate to be absent for my kids. I remember when I had to go and take care of my mom and leave them here. I was on the phone. How they doing on their projects? How they, do they have a decent sub? Are they working? And they kept fussing at me. Would you just don't worry about here? We got it here. You take care of your mom, because that's where my heart was with my kids,
Sure.
So, yeah.
I understand. Let me ask you this, Harriet, and it wasn't part of the original outline, in preparation for today's discussion. I had jotted down some notes and thoughts and questions, and this wasn't included, but I'm curious because you've made good decisions with money, and you've sought out help, and you've been consistent, like you said, getting some good advice and being a good listener back in 1987. But you are a music teacher, right?
Correct.
So you're a creative type, unlike me, who's not a creative type. You don't want me playing any instruments for you. I could barely play the radio by myself. So, you're not the classic person that is going to want to read financial magazines or read investment prospectus and things like that. Yet, despite the fact that you're more of an artistic, creative, musical person, that doesn't necessarily lend itself to financial education, but you've managed over these many years to survive and thrive financially. How did you cross that bridge? Because you're not curious like investments like I am, being a financial geek.
Listen, it goes back to like I said, it started with my mother showing me what I had to do to maintain a household, and then also, like I said, being single, being only child, knowing I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
That had a lot to do with it, and that pretty much, knowing that there was no other income or no other source.
Right.
Because when my mother passed, I had no idea. I even told her, I said, I hope you're enjoying your retirement and using your money and not trying to, leave a whole lot to me, because I want you to enjoy retirement,
Sure.
But, she did have a 403B that I inherited, and, I think about that. I said, and every time I would look at that, I said, I really hope that whatever she had as far as her pension and whatever she was getting, that she enjoyed her retirement, because I don't think she did what she wanted to do.
No, I think that's good. On that note, as we kind of wrap up, Harriet, you said you were disciplined, and I've seen that over these many, many years as we've talked about these things. So I don't think you're a free spender. But could you share with my listeners maybe something that you do splurge on?
You mean on a regular or a half splurge?
I don't know. I'll leave it up to you.
I'm not a big splurger. A cruise that I went on. I just always wanted to go, and I said, I'm going. And they had a ball. I'm ready to go on another one. But it's not a regular thing where I splurge real big or on anything. But every now and then I might treat myself on some little niceties here and there.
Very good. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes with me.
Okay.
Listeners, you could get more information about me and my firm, Elliott Wealth Management, by going to www.elliottwealth.com. You could sign up for an initial consultation if you're not a client already. And I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done so already. And I will be back with you on the next episode of the Simply Financial Podcast very soon. Thanks for listening.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note the information being